Hey, so the kids are finishing up their school videos, and I'm sitting here doing laundry in the kids' room because I have not done it for probably 2 weeks. It's bad. I wash it, but then I don't ever put it away, and it ends up just piling in a basket in their room, and then their room looks like this. So for all of you that DM'd me and were like, how do you keep it all together? How do you keep your house clean? I don't most of the time, and
Hey everyone, it's Katie from Without a Crystal Ball. Welcome back to my channel. I've got some stuff coming up here we're going to talk about with Anna Duggar in a minute. I just wanted to talk about something that I've been looking at and following up on my Instagram. And if you're not following me on my Instagram, it's at Without a Crystal Ball. Make sure that you follow and always subscribe here for all your latest content. I've been sort of like diving into the wormhole of the Southern Baptist Convention and all the controversy that's been surrounding it. Obviously, I have covered extensively the Institute and Basic Life Principles and some of the really bad people involved in the independent fundamentalist Baptist world. And I've just been sort of like tiptoeing around the Southern Baptist Convention for a while. And recently there's been a couple pastors that have been in the news for the wrong reasons. And I feel like it kind of happens in like, it's consistent. And I talked to you in a couple videos ago about this guy named Keenan Horde, who's in Bentonville, and how he's in his own huge problem. And I've had a ton of you reach out to me in messages and in comments as former members of the church or members of the church, horrified and sad, and to which I say I'm so sorry that you guys are going through this. And as I was like looking into this story, then there's this other pastor that comes out, and he is in Texas. His name is Matt Chandler, and he runs the Village Church, which is based out of, it's kind of like near Dallas, the Dallas-Fort Worth area. And it's a large church. I mean, it's a mega church, probably 5,000, 6,000, 7,000 people that go through this church on a weekend. He has a massive social media platform where he has like over 300,000 followers on his Twitter account, over 100,000 on his Instagram. He's got like 100,000 people that follow their Facebook page for the church. And randomly, just like out of nowhere, this is a church that's been embroiled in its own controversy for years. Matt is a Reformed Baptist, and his church just settled a lawsuit. It's related to an essay of a child at the church. And now suddenly he's taking a leave. And he announces the leave on Sunday during service. And it's super vague. And he says that it's due to inappropriate DMs that he had with this woman on Instagram. And the woman was a member of the church, and someone at church like confronted him one day and was like concerned about what she saw in her friend's messages to the pastor.
The conversation between me and this other woman, and they had some concerns. And those concerns were not that our messaging was romantic, or it was that our conversations were unguarded and unwise. And because I don't ever want there to be secrets between us, the concerns were really about frequency and familiarity. We believe in brother-sister relationships here. And yet there was a frequency that moved past that, and there was a familiarity that played itself out in coarse and foolish joking. It's unbefitting of someone in my position as a lead pastor and as an elder. I'm held to a higher standard and fell short of that higher standard. To put me on a leave of absence, starting immediately from preaching and teaching at the Village Church. If I'm on, I'm just really embarrassed.
And the church says that nothing bad happened. It was just inappropriate. He crossed boundaries, and he's taking an indefinite leave. And so everyone is kind of like, what did you do? What happened here? There has to be more to the story. And they said they had to do an independent investigation. They brought in a law firm that looked at all of the messaging, and they said there was no romantic relationship, but yet he said with frequency and familiarity of the texts to this woman, it was crossing boundaries, and he was telling like coarse and inappropriate jokes and using language that was unbecoming of a pastor. And that's what actually got him placed on indefinite leave, not how he handled the situation with the child, not these other controversies that handled this. And people are like super confused, like, why is he being placed on leave for having an inappropriate relationship? And so there's like all these rumors of like, what could this have been? So I'm just bringing this to you because I've just sort of like dove down this wormhole of this whole group of pastors. And they definitely have like a long history of covering things up. But in this case, if any of you are from this church, or if you know the church, or if you have any insight into what could have happened, or if you know people, can you leave me some comments? Because I'm trying to find the best direction of where to go. And I'm like watching videos, and I'm watching like It's a Boys Club for 100% sure. And he would be like in the same world as Ben Seawald and Jeremy Volo. He's on a completely different side of it. Like he doesn't hang out with John MacArthur, let's just say. Anyways, he steps down and it's like huge news right now. And so I'm just trying to figure out like what happened, because the church is not telling us what happened. And they did a really good job of trying to minimize what happened to a little girl. And they also have his history with this woman who got a divorce from her husband that was doing bad things to children, and they shamed her for it. So there's just been a lot. So that's sort of what I've been dealing with. So if you know anything about the Matt Chandler situation, leave me some comments. Okay, that was like way longer than I wanted it to be. Anna Duggar is sparking some concern about her parenting, or how she's feeling, or what's going on in her life. People are worried about her because she has been posting a lot lately after taking a long break, and people are like, are you okay, Joy? Like you're posting more frequently. Is everything fine? And then she posted a video on her Instagram where it was like a song, a Christian song, talking about how, you know, whatever happens, whatever gets thrown at her today, she'll be fine. She'll get through it. You know, like the sense that like she's feeling down, she's feeling stressed, she's feeling overwhelmed. Now, Joy has had, you know, a tough few months. I mean, I think it would be easy to look at the situation and say, like, Joy, you've gone through a trial with your brother, and you were part of this trial, and you learned, you know, information about your life through this trial, and you had to deal with the fallout with your family. So it's super, super understandable that you would be feeling sort of stressed out or just not okay. And she shared this post on her Instagram, which I thought was actually pretty raw and real for a Duggar girl. They don't always, I think Jill does a pretty good job of being transparent, but they don't always share. Like they have a hard time being vulnerable. I mean, can you blame them? They were raised on TV and they've had to like portray this perfect image their whole lives. So this is what she said. A few months ago, I was crying to Austin, feeling inadequate to be the mother of two beautiful children and wanting to give them a happy childhood and praying they will know how much Jesus loves them. He said, Joy, get your phone out, open your notes, and write this down. It's not your job to create the perfect life for your kids. It's not your job to keep them happy all the time. It is your job to be their mom in the good times, the hard times, the normal times, the crazy times, the sad times, and the great times. Show up, be firm, love much, and mother well. And she said, I feel like every few weeks I have to stop, refocus, be purposeful in loving and parenting my kids, and thank God for the beautiful life he has given me with my husband and children. And how can this picture not make you smile? Being a mom is one of the hardest yet most rewarding jobs. She's admitting that she's crying and feeling overwhelmed and inadequate as a mother. First of all, I just want to say this, and the comments were overwhelmingly the same. Every mom feels that way. I promise you. All of us feel like we fall short. All of us feel like we're not doing enough. All of us feel like we are not giving our children the best or the most perfect life that they should have. Every mother feels the weight of society telling us that we have to do it all. We have to work. We have to be a mom. We have to stay at home mom. We have to make cookies. We got to do Pinterest. We have to do crafts. We have to do activities. Like, there's a lot of pressure on us as mothers to be everything and all, and then look perfect. And then on top of that, you have a public per family. And I think you've had 2 children really young. And so you're learning. You had to grow up and become a mom and then also deal with all the stuff that's been going on with your family. I think it's okay to cut yourself a little slack here. It's great that you have a husband that gave you this advice. I think his advice is good. It's not your job to create the perfect life for your kids. It is not your job. You want to do the best that you can with what you have at the time. That's all you can do. You want to try to not make the same mistakes your parents made. You want to try to correct the generational issues that have plagued the family. Like, that's the only thing that I ever think of with my parenting. Like, I might not be the perfect parents, but I'm not going to do the same things. I'm not going to make the same mistakes as my parents made, or as my husband's parents made, or as anyone's parents make. I want to do things better. And if you can do things better or try your best, that's all you can do. It is not your job to keep them happy all the time. Nope. We all know that kids will flip out over the most mundane things. In my house, it might be a video game, or it might be, something to do with a toy not doing what they want. And they're not always going to be happy. Kids will not always be happy, but kids need to know that they're always loved. And he is right. It's your job to be there for them no matter what they do, no matter what happens. It's your job to love them. It's your job to teach them and show them how to be a good person, model good behaviors. Be firm. That one's a tough one for me. I have a hard time being firm, but it is good advice. Kids need boundaries for sure. People were worried, obviously, because she's feeling sad and feeling inadequate. And I will just say this, it's normal. Like, I think she's had a lot on her plate. I think she's been going through a lot. I think Austin is being supportive in the advice that he's giving her. I hope that, if she continues to feel stressed and if she's continuing to feel like she might be depressed or anxious or anything like that, that she also might seek out some help. If she needs to talk to someone other than her husband, or, find a friend to confide in, or if she needs to talk to a therapist or, a counselor at church or something to sort through some of this, that could also be helpful. Finding a group of friends, play dates, play groups, getting out of the funk of it. She's in a busy season of her life, and I'm saying season because she's got 2 little ones. She's got a 2-year-old and a 3-year-old. I mean, that's a busy time. Kids that age are nonstop. That's the most exhausting parenting I've ever done, was when my child was that age. Up until the age of 5, I literally felt like I lived in a blur with no sleep. And I think when you're in that, it's hard to see out of it. Just hang on tight, hold on for the wild ride, Joy, because it goes by so fast, because I'm about to have a 10-year-old. And I wish I could turn back the hands of time. So she got a ton of amazing, supportive comments, lots of love. And I'll say this, she's gone through a lot this last year. It's always good to admit that you're not okay. Being raw and vulnerable with your audience is what really will draw people into you and make them connect. And when you can show them a real side of your life, they will see the real you. And I think the more real you are with your audience and with your, the fans that you've gathered over the years, the more support you're going to get, the more support and love that you get, the easier it's going to get to go through those days. So I say, I'm not super worried about her. Some of the fans are. I think she'll be fine. I think she's just using the best tools that she has right now to share how she's feeling. I think she went on a bit of a hiatus, and now she's sort of getting her voice back. And I think when you go through that, you have this tendency to maybe overshare, or not even overshare, or you want to just catch up. And I think she's at that place where she just keeps doing all these stories. Maybe she's feeling a little lonely. Maybe she's feeling overwhelmed. Whatever is going on with Joyanna, you'll get through this season. Reach out if you need someone to talk to. The advice that Austin gave you is phenomenal. And all moms feel the way she does. If you're a mom and you felt like her, leave me some comments below. Bye, guys.